All right, so in this video, I'm bringing you a 20-round baseline CCW standard. And what the standard is meant to be, it's meant to be a universal baseline standard for concealed carry. Now, like in my rifle standards I posted a few weeks back, these aren't meant to be smoking hot times that you can only meet sometimes on like your best days. This is meant to be a baseline standard. So even if you were working all day and you're exhausted and you're going to the range to get some practice in, it's a standard you should still be able to meet. Or maybe you were training jiu-jitsu all morning and now here you are at the range doing some training recording like I am now. Even on your worst day, it should be a standard that you should be able to meet fairly consistently. With that being said, the standard is not necessarily easy, but it's not extremely hard either, thereby setting a baseline standard. And if you're not able to consistently meet this standard consistently day in and day out, now you really know that you have some work to do. Anyway, so what you need for this is a basic target. I'm just using an IPSC target. I've changed the hit boxes a little bit to make them more realistic. A handgun I use for CCW, of course, holster, obviously, a spare mag, 20 rounds of ammunition, and all of these are going to be done at the 7-yard line. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so we're at the 7-yard line. The first thing we're going to start out with is 2 draw strokes. And what this is going to look like, again, 7-yard line. Our hands are going to be up in a defensive posture like this rather than down at our belt. So hands up in a defensive posture. On the buzzer, we're going to draw from concealment and put 1 round center mass on the target. And the standard we're going to look to meet here is 2.25 seconds, so 2.25 seconds or under. So let's just go ahead and do it. 2.22 is pretty close. It was a headshot though, at least. Now, although that one was a headshot, it just happened to be where my sights were, so I pulled the trigger. We're still aiming center mass here, but just that's happened to be where the pistol went there, and obviously a headshot's better than the center mass shot anyway, so I took it. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. It's gonna be our second one, so we're doing 2 of these in total. It's important to note that you get 1 redo. So if either one of these, you either miss the time or miss the hitbox, you get 1 redo. All right, so draw stroke number 2. 2.10. All right. Both of those were under time and good shot. All right, so for the next drill, we're going to do draws to bill drills. If you don't know what a bill drill is, it is 6 rounds center mass. So we're going to start with our hands up in that defensive posture. On the buzzer, we're going to draw from concealment and put 6 rounds center mass on the target. And the time standard to meet here is 3.5 seconds. And we're doing 2 of these. Again, you get 1 redo if need be. All right, so draw to bill drill. Okay, 3-4-1. 3-4-1. Just barely made that. All right, time for bill drill number 2. I want to control the gun a little bit better on this one. I wasn't terribly happy with how much flip I was getting in that gun. 3-4-2 is pretty consistent. I controlled the gun a little bit better on that one. Like I said, I designed this for compact pistols, i.e. those with 15-round capacities. At this point, we should have 1 left in the chamber. We're going to go ahead and eject that, keep the slide in slide lock, and I'm just going to go ahead and reholster this. And we're going to take that 1 round and insert it into our spare magazine. So I'm just doing this for convenience because we're going to do these reloads a little bit differently. Now remember, if you are concealed carry, and you concealed carry a spare magazine, that is, your concealed carry magazine should also be in concealment. So at this point, we now have a pistol that's in slide lock and 1 round in our spare magazine. So for the next drill, we're doing reloads. We're going to do this a little bit differently. So we're just going to have our pistol out with the slide lock to the rear. On the buzzer, we're going to perform a reload and then 1 round center mass on the target. The time standard to meet here is 4.5 seconds. 4.5 seconds, and we're doing this twice. Okay, reactive reloads, 4.5 seconds. 3-2-3. All right, well under time, and now we're going to do the same thing. Slides locked to the rear. Gonna go ahead and just put my magazines back the way I like them. Gonna take another round, put it in my spare magazine again, and just repeat the drill one more time. All right, reactive reload from concealment number 2. 299. Excellent. Now that we're done the reloads, now we're going to do turn and shoot. So what these are going to look like is that I'm going to be facing both left and right. We're going to do one from each. So both one facing right, one facing left. It's going to be very basic. Hips are going to be 90 degrees away from the target. I can be looking at the target if I want, but hips 90 degrees away from the target. Again, hands in the defensive posture on the buzzer. I'm going to rotate, draw, and one round center mass. I'm going to do one facing right and one facing left. Time standard to beat here is 2.75 seconds. 2.75 seconds. All right, rep number 1. 222. Okay, and now next one is going to be facing the opposite direction. So for me, it's left. 221. All right. And finally, to wrap this up, we're now going to be doing precision draw strokes. So we've been shooting center mass up until now, but for our last 2 rounds, we're going to be doing basically a draw stroke, except we're going for the face box this time. So same exact thing as we were doing in the very beginning with the draw strokes. Hands are going to be up in a defensive posture on the buzzer, right? Draw from concealment, except face box shot rather than center mass shot. Center to meet here is 2.75 seconds, and we're doing 2 of these. These are going to be the last 2 rounds of the standard. Rep number 1. 233. There's a good shot. And rep number 2, hopefully the last round of the standard. That was 210. All right, so here's the target. I'm happy with all of these rounds for the most part, except this one. This was on one of my bill drills. Although it was a headshot, it's not a great one. So that's the only one that's, I'll note that one. That was not a great one. That trigger pulled a little quicker than I thought it would. That's what ended up happening with that. These 2 right here are also from a bill drill, but, they tracked up to the head, so I took them. It is what it is. And that one was from my first draw stroke at 7 yards. Like I said, sights ended up being on the head, so I just took it. Why not? And these were my 2 precision ready ups. So overall happy other than that one shot. So that is the basic 20 round CCW standard. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm Tyler Austin from Gungnir Strategic. Thank you so much for watching.